All right, this is the Big Douglas Show, and my guest today from the On the Warpath YouTube show, Corey Sanchez. Corey, how are you?
What's up, Doug? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. It's an honor to have you on. Big fan of what you do. You know that.
Mhm.
How long have you had the page now?
This is year 5. Started this in 2016, um, off of just a rant about Chris Cooley going in on Robert Griffin III, and it's been a thrill for the last 5 years. I can't believe where we started at and then where we're at now. And when I say we, it's everybody that subscribed and the connections that I've made. So it's not just me on here. It's everybody has helped me and fueled the fire into what we're trying to become here at On the Warpath.
It's wild. I didn't know too much about any of this until I started up the podcast last year.
Mhm.
There's definitely a big difference between the podcasters and the YouTube community. Not not in a good or a bad way. It's just noticeably different because yours is not on podcast streaming services, right? You strictly do the YouTube channel. I'm curious if that's true, why you decided to go that route.
I do it sometimes. I've kind of dabbled in it a little bit more recently, especially with me getting guests on and everything now. But it really wasn't. I think with YouTube, you can just go out there and do it. If you got a camera, you've got a platform. I feel like with podcasting, the sound quality needs to be superior. You've got to have a decent mic. You've got to have background noise and everything. And when I first started, I was kind of in a 1-bedroom place, and then there's a lot of background noise and everything. Nowhere you could really deaden anything. So I just went like that. I said, hey, YouTube's good, and I know I have a face for radio anyway, so I thought let's just bring this crazy guy and his mannerisms and everything. Just bring me and like I'm doing right now. I cannot not talk with my hands, so I think that that's probably one of the biggest things is. And people always say I need to fix my face when I get mad about things. It's hilarious. I said no, that's just me getting mad all the time. So
Right.
yeah.
And so I know you started to have guests on. What are the challenges there, and do you prefer one to the other?
Um, the challenge, I think that's the fun of it, is the challenge, man. And to be honest with you, you were actually my first guest when I started doing, I call it Washington football team Q&A, but you were the very first one on there. And I think it's more, and it's kind of what you told me when I asked you when I first started doing this. It's the follow-up. It's actually getting people, how to attract people to come on there. Some people are more willing than others. I just got a rejection message from, and I'm not afraid to say it, from Clinton Yates. He's like, I don't talk about the team like that. And I was like, okay, that's cool, but I got to follow off Instagram from him. So that was cool. But it's like everybody in the media is pretty gracious that you talk to. I mean, everybody from Channel 7 has been really good to work with. And Mitch Tischler, he's been awesome as well. But there's so many people. I'll forget if I keep on naming people off. That's, being in the Baptist church, you'll have a preacher that's like, oh, I thank Miss Johnson, and Miss Sally didn't get thanked, and she's mad now. And the collection plate will reflect that. And that's what I think. It's the challenge is getting people, is attracting people and talking to people. Some people, you and I, know one guy in particular, Travis Thomas. This guy is in it all the time. Good dude, and he's about building relationships outside of his show. And sometimes I just feel like it's not really a guy in the media. So like he's probably one of my favorite people to talk to in the media. And then our local podcasts that we've had on here, Manny, Maddie, and Freddie from HT We Are, and just going through that. So I know that's a little bit of a long answer. I hope I answered that question right. It sounded like I was on the political hot seat for a second.
No, that's about right. So look, my brother and I are always trying to come up with these exercises to get us through. And right now, it's interesting. This is the first year that I've had the pod during this march through the desert where for information and So I thought, and I reached out to you, we'll do something I'm calling the confidence game. So we'll start out with quarterback and just run right on through. And we'll do it for the NFC East division. So what quarterback do you have the most confidence in the division?
There are actually quarterbacks in this division. That's what
There are. There are. Some of them play at a high level too.
Oh gosh. I'm going to get shot down when I say this. The one that I have the most confidence in is Prescott. I would say, just because he's been there, consistent. He's been He's been in the playoffs. He's won a couple of divisions. All these other guys are anomalies. We don't know. We know what Ryan Fitzpatrick is with us in particular, but Daniel Jones we really don't know what he is, but he can beat Washington all the time. Jalen Hurts, where's his psyche at after getting benched against us at the end of the season last year? Is he going to be ready to take the next step, or is he going to spaz out like his head coach did in his introductory press conference? So not really sure on that game, but I think you'd have to go Prescott, Fitzmagic, Jones, and Hurts in that order.
I think that's right, particularly if he comes back healthy. I'm a big fan of Prescott, so I'm with you there. I think I'm with you all the way from top to bottom. It's interesting as we go through this exercise. The Eagles better be right on Hurts, or else they're real behind. The roster is not all that nice.
No.
And all right, from there, let's
awful.
go to running backs. This is an interesting position group for the division.
Oh man, yeah, because there's there's so many variables, right? You've got, I think it is, what Zeke are you going to get? Zeke's kind of been on the downward spiral. Saquon's been hurt, and we've got this guy Antonio Gibson, and then the Eagles. I think the Eagles are the floor again in this situation, and then I don't think there's much difference between 1, 2, and 3. I would go Saquon if he's healthy. I'd go Zeke, and I'd go Antonio Gibson right now. And I know I'm feeling like Simon Cowell from American Idol but I'm looking at it from the grand scheme of things. I think Saquon is very versatile, and Zeke, if he's right, he is going to be a force. Let's not play ourselves. It's a reason why we've only beat this guy 3 times in a Cowboys uniform. So.
Again, I think we agree there. Saquon might be the best back in the league. I mean, when healthy, he's a freak. And it may be Gibson's turn to get into that 2 spot.
Exactly.
But an injured quarterback, coming off the injury, I bet you they plan on running the ball a ton. Bonus points if you even know who the running back for the Eagles is.
I have no idea. Who do they have?
I was struggling. I really was trying to pull
it
off the top of my head. Miles
Sanders. Miles Sanders. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
All right. The next one is an interesting one. The offensive line grouping.
There you go. There's variables. There you go. There's variables again. I'm going to give it to us in this situation, though. I like our offensive line. I don't think you lose too much between what you had at left tackle with Leno. I think you improve on there, and then you can kick either Cornelius, Lucas, Cosme to right tackle. So I think that's good there. Brandon Sheriff, dear Lord, he needs to stay healthy. If we got praying folks on here, put the anointing on him so he can. I need double-digit games for you, Brandon. Chase Roulier is one of the most underrated offensive linemen in the NFL.
Absolutely.
And then we have the best problem at left guard. Wes Schweitzer, Eric Flowers, and if Sadiq Charles can play 3 plays, he's pretty much made up for what he played last year. So I give it to us. I think Dallas is on the downslide, but I would give it to Dallas there. This is where kind of gets a little different, though. I think the Eagles, they still have the pieces there. They've got old angry Lane Johnson still there. They've got Kelsey. It's still a part of that squad. So them and then I'd go with the Giants too, because I just with Daniel Jones back there running for his life half the time, I don't know. And I think Saquon makes them look a lot better than what they are. So, it's that transitive property. You got the best running back, but the offensive line is bad. It's kind of, I'm not calling him Barry Sanders, but it's that Barry Sanders type variable.
It's interesting that Dallas and Giants line are two lines headed in different directions. That Giants line is really young. The left tackle from Georgia has to take a step up for them next year if he's going to pan out. But again, I don't think it's homerish, if you will, to put Washington at the top of that list. I agree with it. And I think maybe PFF had them 3 overall coming into the season. So I think well, also, when's the last time you've seen the national guy so high on this team? It's been a while since we've had a full off season and just nothing but good things.
I'm scared. I am horrified at this. The Vegas has gotten me scared. I'm just like, y'all. They people ask me, they're like, oh, what do you think? I said, I don't know, man, because I'm like, I want to believe. I'm like Mulder, right, in the X-Files. I want to believe. Like but I'm waiting for that smoking man in the cigarette to call and say, Mr. Sanchez, this is just all a fraud. This is all just standing there. The aliens are coming out. There are no aliens or whatever. But so, shout out to the X-Files. That was a good show in the 90s. But yeah, that's what I feel like right now, man. Where's Ashton Kutcher? We're about to get punked.
The wide receiver might be the best of the whole division. So I'm curious how you rate those.
Oh dear Lord. I'm gonna go homerish again. I think Terry McLaurin, stud, may be the best wide receiver in the division. No, not maybe. Look at me. Y'all look at me when I say this. The best wide receiver in the division. Clip it. Terry McLaurin, I think it is the best. I think if you got Curtis Samuel, who is a jack of all trades, maybe not a master of none, jack of all trades. De'Ami Brown, can't wait to see what he has there. I think Cam Sims, if he can get right, I think he's very underrated and he could be a dominant rush. We saw flashes, in Detroit against the Giants at home, that this guy has potential. So I'll give it 1 right there. At 2, I think that you want to look at the Dallas Jerry Joneses down there, because they've got body catching Cooper. They've got who else do they have?
They added CeeDee Lamb last year.
And
Gallup. Cooper 2 years before that. Yeah, that's right. Michael Gallup's still on that team too.
Gallup, who I think Gallup might be the second best receiver on there, and then CeeDee Brown at number 1. And I think Amari Cooper might be 3rd. Let's go with the Giants, because they still have Sterling Shepard there. They brought in Galladay. If he can stay healthy, maybe so. And then with the Eagles, they got the young kid out of Alabama. Now they got Smith from Alabama, right? Or was it Waddle?
Yes.
They got Smith. Smith was the one who looks like we could have fed him on one of them channels, right? He looks like he needs to be on Feed the Children, right? So like when he gets lit up like a Christmas tree, that's where I'm going to have concerns there. But I don't think there's a bad wide receiving core in this division, though. I think that is, like you said, yeah, it is deep. But I'm going to give it to us, though, man. Come on, give it to us. Let's go.
But again, you see the trend here, right? Yeah. The Eagles are not. I mean, I don't know what they got going on. They got major problems. Not that upsets me at all, but it just, this exercise really kind of pointed it out. I was surprised when I was looking through this stuff. I suppose the defensive line is easy, right? We don't have to do too much discussion on that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that us. We're 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
There's no doubt. Although I'll tell you what, that Giants defensive line is better than people give it credit for. This Giants defense in general.
Yeah. Giants, is it who's it? Pepper Johnson, is that right? who's the defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Patrick Graham, I think that's his name. They've got an underrated defense. I like what they can do. Our old defensive line coach is in Dallas, so we'll see what he can do. I think he's still down there. Tom Sula.
I know they brought in the new. He might be.
No, he's gone. Yeah, that's right.
They brought in a new defensive coordinator. And the Eagles have some pieces, but again, there's not a ton.
Yeah, I don't know about the Eagles.
Cox, really.
Oof. Fletcher Cox, best one. I think he's one of my favorite players in the division. That's not a Washington guy.
I totally agree. I like him. Linebackers.
This is probably our weakest spot. I think this is weak throughout the division, to be honest with you. Let's see here. Martinez still on the Giants, right? He had a pretty decent year last year. Oh gosh. I would say, I'm gonna say us again. I think the Giants, the Cowboys. Sorry, Philadelphia.
The Cowboys actually have a fairly decent linebacker core if they can ever stay healthy. Their problem is those guys never stay healthy.
That's my thing, right? It's the same conversation that everybody had about Reuben Foster, right? Oh, Reuben Foster's going to be great. He's going to be good. He's going to be good. Just wait till he gets healthy. Y'all, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. He's a dog. I'm like, okay, let's see him. Never showed up. So that's the same thing. You know, Sean Lee retired. Jalen Smith there on that problem, but they did bring in an old bad boy from Penn State, right? They brought in Micah Parsons. So I think he fits the mold down there in Dallas. So So let's go Dallas 2, then Giants 3, and then 4 Philly.
Did it surprise you that Washington wasn't more concerned about bringing in some linebacker help? I mean, they drafted one first overall, so yes, they did bring in help, but other than that, they weren't really all that concerned about filling out the position.
And I've said this before on my channel a lot. If we can't trust Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio,
that's right,
to find linebackers or to fit these linebackers into spots to succeed, then we have a problem. We have a problem to begin with. That is the ultimate problem. I mean, this defense, John Bostic, some of the most memorable plays were by John Bostic, who hides away from coverage. Like, think about that, Doug. We remember everybody. I'm about to commission a painting of him knocking out Andy Dalton just for the heck of it, because it's so beautiful. He had a big stop. Didn't he have that stop on the goal line against Pittsburgh? He
takes a lot of flack, but he played well last year.
Yes, he played. He shows up when you need him to. Had that blitz, that A-gap blitz against Philadelphia in week 1. So I know he's not the greatest, but this is just the credit of what Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera can do. Kevin Pierre-Louis got paid because of these guys, because of how he performed. Cole Holcomb is not bad. He's not a bad linebacker. So Jamin Davis, a lot of people are like, oh, Jamin Davis. I'm like, you mean to tell me you don't trust, out of anything, you don't trust these cats to make a linebacker pick? So I don't think it's neglect. I think they've got the confidence to get these guys out there, and along with linebackers coach Steve Russ, to just squeeze the orange, squeeze the towel out, and get as much water and juice you can out of it.
I bet you they play a ton of safeties this year on the field.
I believe so. I think so. I think you're right. We heard about Landon. I think Derek Forrest. This guy is. I think you're going to see a lot of these guys more like in that playing more hybrid spots than anything. So anybody watch out.
I've been floating around a 5-1-5 defense. What do you think? That way you get the extra.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like a 34. It's not a 34. You have more down line, and that way you get all 5 of your best defensive players on the field.
Okay.
And then you only need one linebacker, whether that's Holcomb, Davis, or the rookie. And then your best position group might outside the D-line might be the safeties. And that way you get more safeties on the field.
There you go. I like that. My question to you is, who do you send out there on in typical defense, like on the defensive line anyway? Who would you send out there? Who would be your three interiors?
You add Ioannidis.
The Ioannidis, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ioannidis, Payne, Allen,
Okay.
Sweat, and Young all out there at the same time.
All right. Okay. I like that. See, I don't know.
Technically you can drop Young or Sweat from time to time.
That's true. And Chase dropped in coverage a couple times last year. So
yeah.
I was interested on that three because I think we've got four great interior linemen. So I was like, who are you gonna put out there? Sometimes I think Tim Settle is just
I love Settle.
I mean, my goodness, that kid.
The Penguin gets busy.
Yeah, he does. That's true. The only Penguin I like because he's not from Pittsburgh. So
that's right. And so what's this team going to finish up? Let's finish up this way. You were asking about base. I actually also think that by the time the season's done, it'll be St. Juice outside and they'll kick 29 into the nickel roll.
I agree. I agree with
what you think how the safety situation ends up shaking out.
I think you're going to have McCain, and I think you're going to have Cam Curl as your starting safeties. I think he was the biggest surprise last year, but it's not surprising if you go back and look at it because if you look at the draft profiles of Cam Curl, a lot of people thought he was supposed to be drafted in this draft. He came out a year early.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why I think that's how and I think Landon, you may see him in there a little bit, but Landon is only on running downs. You can't have him on passing downs. I mean, Cam Curl led the team in solo tackles last year and was second on the team in total tackles. And then McCain, I think he can do a great. He's very versatile in the secondary. I think he's played corner, he's played in the slot, and he's played safety in his time at Miami. And he's got decent grades from Pro Football Focus. So I think he's going to come in there, and I think he's going to take that. And then maybe Jeremy Reeves may come in there a little bit of times. I do like Jeremy Reeves.
Yeah. It will be interesting. There's going to be a lot of interesting camp battles.
Yes.
Let's before I will let you run out of here, I've been asking everybody two things. How do you see the wide receiver room shaking out? If they keep six receivers, okay, and we'll all agree on the first four that Terry, Diami, what's the new guy?
Are you saying Humphrey?
Yeah,
Samuels. Oh, okay.
Cam Sims. And then you got two spots left for AGG, Harmon, and Humphreys.
Oh, for the love of Chubb, this is going to be hard. And I'm going to say this. I like Harmon because he's that big physical receiver and he has his own orbit. Anything that comes near, he's going to catch him. I get Gandy Golden was Ron's pick. I get that. And it could be him. It could be, I don't know. But, and I also I think somebody that we're underselling here is Dax Milne. Great route runner, NFL quality route runner. And I'm not too certain in talking with people and listening and reading a couple of things that Adam Humphries makes his team. So I think
I'm on the record saying I don't think he does.
You did. You said that on DMV3. So I remember you and Tony said that. So I'm kind of in that wheelhouse, and I like Dax Milne. I like him a lot. I think he's got a good story in the way he runs route. If he can be physical, Lord have mercy. I think you might have a second coming of Wes Welker.
I'd take it.
I would too, man. Especially with Ryan Fitzpatrick. We're gonna need
that. And Corey, let's wrap this way. What is a successful season to you this year?
Making it back to the playoffs. And I think winning a playoff game more than anything. You don't have to host one, but you need to win one because you won the division, however anybody wants to say that, but you've got to because there's a lot of doubt in the quarterback spot right now. Like with fans like myself, I'm not a big fan of the quarterback room. And if you were to do it, we have the two oldest quarterbacks in the division, Taylor Heineke and Ryan Fitzpatrick. If they were on two different teams, they would be the top two oldest quarterbacks by age.
People forget about that about Heineke.
Yeah,
I mean,
Heineke's
they
not.
think they've
young.
got this young up and comer, and people think I hate on Heineke. I'm not a Heineke hater. If he turns out to be great, that's fantastic.
Right.
But he's not a 21-year-old rookie.
No, they said, well, he can grow. I'm like, y'all realize this man's been in the league since 2015, right? Like, he's 28, yes. He'll be 29. So I don't know, but I think the quarterbacks, they win the division and the quarterbacks play well. We don't go playing quarterback carousel, but it worked for us last year, right? So, and Dustin Hopkins making his kicks. That's a successful season because I think they'll be in a lot of close games and you can't leave points on the floor.
And where you figure it takes about 10 wins to get the division this year, because it won't be sub 500 like last year.
No,
sure.
I think well, even with the 17th game, maybe 8 games still, it might maybe depend on it. Yeah. 10 and 7. Yeah, 10-7, 9-8. Even you said sub 500, it might not be there, but I mean, 8 games still could do it, and 8-9 might win it. I don't know. It just depends on how the schedule works out for everybody in the division. But I think Washington's going to be in a lot of these games. A lot of folks aren't thinking they're going to be in, but the key is to win on the road. You've got to win on the road. You've got to have a win. You have to go, I guess you'd have to go 6-3 on the road. I think to have a legitimate shot. And that's hard, but those are where your cupcake games are. And you got to clean up in the division at home. You have to sweep at home in the division.
That last month of the season is going to be wild.
Oh God! Don't get me started, Doug. Don't get me started on that. They're trying to host us
together, but
they're trying to host.
Won't be good for my liver.
No, it will not be, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to go to church on Monday, Sunday, because all the swear words I use during it. Because I don't get it, man. How can you sandwich Philly, Dallas, and then you can go to the Giants at the end of the year? What?
It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. Well, Corey, thanks, man. This was a ton of fun. Tell the folks at home where to find you and what you got coming up next.
Yeah, you can find me on the Warpath at YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to us on there. And then at Sanchez 405 on Twitter, Instagram, all the social media platforms. And we've got a couple of things coming up. Next week, I will have an interview with someone from our local media. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a fun, I think it's going to be a fun one. And it is, I'm excited, man. I can't wait for the regular season. I can't wait for training camp. I'm be out there in Richmond, so I'm going to be excited for that.
Always good catching up with you, buddy.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.